Hello and welcome to the first Academy for Teaching Excellence podcast for spring 2014. Hope that everybody had a restful, restorative break and that your spring semesters are off to auspicious, smooth beginnings. So I want to give you an update on some of what we talked about during our orientation week update. About 20 people were able to attend, which, considering the circumstances of the day and weather, was thought actually pretty good. But for everyone else, I want to give a little encapsulation of what was said and some sense of where we're moving and tell you about some of the programming that we have ahead. So first of all, big news. We have a coffee and tea machine in the Academy now. And it is in that center room, the lounge area, and it's tucked away in a bit of a corner, so you may not see it immediately when you walk in the room, but I assure you it is there, and there are packets of various flavors of coffee and a couple of teas and hot chocolate and something to make them frothy, and there are sweeteners and swizzle sticks and so on. So we invite you to pop down anytime you need a little coffee, tea, cocoa to warm up or give you a little extra push of energy, and have a seat, relax, flip through the Chronicle, higher education, or chat, or just catch your breath. But we're happy to have that in. Okay, of greater pedagogical import, you will see attached to this message a document with a draft of a mission and vision statement. Those have been drafted in response to what we heard from faculty during fall 2013 orientation sessions, roundtables, and in our conversations since then, and we've tried to capture and articulate what we've heard from faculty, but these documents are not by any means set yet. This is truly a draft that is being attached for your commentary. So please take a look at these attempts to state what we aspire to be in this academy, what we as a faculty want it to be, and what its purpose is, and how it's going to function to achieve that purpose, and with whom it's going to interact or partner, if you will, in order to achieve that purpose. On the podcast, you see there's a comment window down below the area where you're watching this. You could put a comment in there, or you could send me an email, but we'd really love to hear from you before we make this any more formal than the draft that it currently is. We've also begun to work in concert with the newly constituted Faculty Development Committee that was formed out of two previous committees in the reorganization of shared governance. That new committee met for the first time in November, for a second time in December, and we're very much looking forward to developing a continuing working relationship that will culminate in a more long-term faculty development plan, as well as ongoing activities. So that's coming. In terms of upcoming activities that we now have in place, first of all, we have a faculty retreat theme and date to announce. The date will be Friday, February 28th, and the theme will be visual literacy. And this, too, comes out of a response to what we've heard from faculty. So back in fall 2013, the orientation week sessions, there was a roundtable requested by faculty who were already discussing this on visual literacy. That is the ability to read, to decipher, to interpret visual images, whether they are artistic images or graphs, charts, maps, and so on. And this is a necessary ability that cuts across all disciplines, and in fact, visual literacy, I learned from the people in this group, is something that's tested on the National Career Readiness Certificate exam. So that is, it's something which our students must have a command of. And so We thought that because of its importance to all disciplines, because it really exemplifies the theme of last year's retreat, integrative learning, it was a logical progression to say integrative learning, the next step. Now let's look at one aspect of this, and visual literacy does that. We again have this for February 28th, and we'll provide you with more information about that as we go along. We also have a new series, which I'm very pleased will launch next week, and that is our What We Can All Learn from Faculty in Fill in the Blank series. And the inaugural session of this will be on, so I'm looking for the piece of paper here. Isn't this smoothly, beautifully prepared? On Wednesday, January 29th from 3 to 5 p.m. in the Academy, and that will be instructors from ESL. So the idea behind this series is that we can each learn from the best teaching practices developed by our colleagues in all kinds of different disciplines and programs and teaching formats or situations, if you will. So for example, I know that I, as an English teacher, am always going to be teaching in classes of between 24 and 30 students, except when I teach an honors class with 15, but generally 24 to 30. I know I'm never going to teach in a lab, in a studio, in a clinical health setting, but I do know that there are things that instructors in those settings have done to work with their students that could be adapted to what I do. And so the idea behind this series is every week we will hear from faculty in a different department, discipline, program, format, who will tell us about what they've developed and refined in order to engage their students more effectively, and then help us think about how each of us can adapt that to our own teaching. So it's a chance to hear from and celebrate the best practices of our colleagues, and also to think about how to broaden our own teaching palettes with what they've suggested. So ESL begins, again, Thursday, January 29th, 2 to 4 p.m. Please come down and hear from our colleagues, and we will keep you informed about the slate of offerings. I want to emphasize that adjuncts are fully welcome and embraced in all of the Academy for Teaching Excellence programs and activities. So please extend the invitation to your adjuncts. It's included in Lauren Salati's promotional mailing for this week. And if you would like to volunteer your department or program to give a presentation, that would be great. Keep in mind that we'd love to have your adjuncts as presenters as well, and we will offer 0.2 CEUs for each of these sessions. Also, we have 3 graduate equivalency courses that we're ready to announce now for this semester, and we'll be working on developing more in response to the call we've heard from faculty of the need to have these and the credits that come with them. But here are the 3. I've attached a flyer from Lauren Salati with these, so you can look at them on your own. But just very briefly, they are Food, Think Globally, Act Locally by Jackie Mott. That'll run February 10th through March 23rd. 3 graduate equivalency credits for that. Also by Jackie, Social Equity and Environmental Justice, running March 31st to May 12th for 3 graduate equivalency credits. I took this course a couple of semesters ago. Tremendous, not just the amount that I learned, but really in terms of a model of interdisciplinary learning. It was beautiful. So in addition to me, there were faculty members from history, from speech, from health sciences, from engineering. Did I mention history? A couple of others as well. And it was just magnificent the way that we each came away with assignments for our areas, but were helped in developing them by faculty from other areas. So we were each forced to think both inside and outside of our disciplines. And then finally, Josh Sunderbrook will offer Busting Teaching Myths in the intersession May 19th to 23rd for 3 graduate equivalency courses. This is also in direct response to our fall 2013 orientation sessions and feedback we've had since then. People have said things like, do I really need to adjust my teaching, and if so, how, to accommodate students of different ages, students of different learning styles, millennial students, and so on. Josh has done the research to look at what it actually tells us about the truth behind things that we often say and largely believe to be true about teaching. Are they really true? And I've had the pleasure of sharing an office with Josh for the last 11 years. I've learned something from him every day. I continue to learn from him, and I think this is really going to be a pleasure to get at the truth of some things that are really commonplaces about teaching. Also, we have set up some faculty book discussion groups, and I want to announce the first of these, and it will be on Carol Dweck's book, Mindset. This, too, was a suggestion from a faculty member that came up in response to the Developmental Education Summit. And at that summit, there were all kinds of proposals discussed for things that have been tried in the past here and elsewhere, and things that could be tried in terms of helping developmental education students. Everything from specific strategies in the classroom to institutional programs, incentives, restructurings. And at some point, someone said, it might have been Kimberly Polly, who afterwards suggested this book as one that would be helpful for us to read. Someone said, no matter what programs we put in place, no matter what innovations in teaching, no matter what strategies, no matter what restructurings, if a student comes in with the mindset that they're no good at this and they're going to fail, then none of that other stuff is going to get through and ultimately help them succeed, because they can't get past the mental barrier that they're doomed to fail. Of course, I instantly recognized my own attitude towards my mathematical abilities, and thought about what a difference it would have made in my life if I had a teacher who would have addressed that directly and helped me kind of clear that mental hurdle. I thought about all the students I've encountered who say, I'm no good at English, I'm bad at English, I failed this class X number of times before, I know I'm no good at this. And so this book will take us inside that mindset and help us to find ways to help our students break out of it so that the other things can come through. We are going to discuss this over 6 Thursday afternoons. February 6th, February 20th, March 6th, March 20th, April 3rd, April 17th. So every other Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. here in the Academy. We've scheduled the first one from February 6th to give you a chance to get the book, read a couple of chapters. I'll have more information forthcoming, but I think it'll be a really good way for us to come together and start to think about what the research tells us and how our own experience can help us break through these mindsets of students. Okay, so I will leave it at that for now. Just one other thing to mention here, and that is I have attached or pasted in a link to the Illinois Community College's online Growing Online Learning online conference from February 11th to 13th. Registration is free for all of us, and there are a couple of interesting sounding sessions in here about making online teaching effective. So I will end on that note and with a wish for your semesters to continue in what I hope is a good fashion that they've begun in, and we'll be back next week with more. Thank you very much.